How are we doing, guys? Leeds TV, Monday Night Football, and you might be thinking straight away, why am I back on this again? Long story, Joe unfortunately has had another really busy day. I'll let Joe explain what's happened, but luckily there's no worries at all. Joe's absolutely fine, everything's absolutely fine. But yeah, he will definitely be back next week, don't worry about that. You've got me again, I apologise for that straight away. The legend himself isn't available this week, but again, once again, the show must go on. He's passed this one on to me, and I'm absolutely buzzing about it. I mean, I'm just buzzing in general. I mean, 4 wins in a row, and I have to say, I don't think we've been at our best in any of the games. I think we played well in the games, but I don't think we've actually hit our top level in any of the games. I think that's something we've got to be really positive about. You know, I still think we can hit that next level in our performance. I thought with the ball on Saturday, it was probably our best performance with the ball since probably Preston, I think, at home in September when we won that game 3-0. I thought our use of the ball was similar to at the start of the season. Yeah, I think we've been brilliant all season, just not quite hit those levels that we did at the start of the season, but we've still been getting the results, which is the main thing really. But I still think we can improve. That is how good, you know, we're on 42 points in 21 games, but I still think we can improve. That is the standard Bielsa has set at this football club. So let's get straight on with the comments. So first comment is Danny Winters. I've just got the computer once again to the left of me, so I'm just going to read off the computer the comments here. So Danny Winters, this is on Joe Wainman's video. When you think about what Bielsa has done with the team, he pretty much inherited from last season. I believe him when he says we'll have a quiet January. I trust him. As long as we keep getting results, I think we will be champions, not runners up. What a difference to last season, the way we play. The discipline is right. The results compared to what we achieved under Christensen are so different. McLaren is isn't the only manager to criticise referee decisions, but I've yet to hear Marcelo Bielsa do so. I have to agree with so much of that. In fact, I agree with all of that. You know, I'll just go through the comments. So it's a brilliant comment off Danny. I've got to say, Danny's one of our main commenters. It's a really well thought out comment. I feel them. I'm just going to go through it. So the quiet January, I agree with that. You know, I'm sort of leading now towards us having a quiet January rather than doing loads of different bits of business. Look, I don't think we do have the strongest squad on paper in the league. You know, I think there's a lot of strong squads in there this season. Villa, West Brom, some of their firepower is frightening. But I think the main thing in the Championship is character and having belief in your team. And I think at the minute, everyone gets on with each other. I mean, look at the team spirit. You know, we went away to London. We've got Matthew's Click dressed up. We've got Adam Forshaw dressed up. I can't remember what Matthew's Click was dressed up as now. It'll come to me later on in the video. But you know, it's things like that, team bonding. You know, I saw that video later on on Saturday of Clicky, Samuel Saiz, Pablo, and Pontus all at the bar and that lot. It's just a togetherness now, and I think that's the main thing, keeping that togetherness of this team. And I don't want us to change it. You know, I don't want us to go mad in January saying, let's spend 5 million on this player, 10 million on this player. It's got to keep the character of the team. That's the main thing. You don't want to have, you know, Billy Big Bollocks coming into the club and saying, oh, I want to play in this, I want to be starting, I want to be doing this. We want characters in the team. We've got that at the minute. I don't want to upset the apple cart. You know, the only thing I would look at is possibly a more experienced goalkeeper. You know, I thought Bailey may be nervous on Saturday. A couple of things where, you know, look, Bailey will be a great goalkeeper. You know, he will be a great goalkeeper. He's just got elements of his game he still needs to work on. I feel maybe we do need a bit more experience in terms of a goalkeeper. But other than that, maybe another covering centre-back with Coops and Berra being out injured. But other than that, I don't want to see anything major happening. I certainly don't think we need a big marquee signing. You know, I think we've got that character that not many teams, other than maybe Norwich, have in this league. You know, that desire, that belief. In terms of what a difference to last season's style we play, you know, comparing how we started this season to last season, we're on 9 points more after 21 games down on Christensen. But we feel so much further along the line in terms of progress. I think we've got a real clear style of play now. It's the same style every single game. You know, lovely one touch, two touch passing, keeping that possession style and just being relentless and just the pace we play at the vertical passing. It's just excellent to see, creating chances every single game. Even if we don't play well, we still create clear-cut opportunities in every single game. Under Thomas Christensen and pretty much any other manager we've had since maybe arguably Gary Monk, but certainly any manager I think since we've had since Grayson. You know, Grayson's probably the only manager I think we've had in recent years, probably in the last 15 years, who's had a clear identity. But we didn't have that with Thomas Christensen. You know, we lost his belief in the system after we lost 3-1 to Cardiff and 3-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. You know, after West Brom, Christensen won the panics. Bielsa hasn't. Bielsa still keeps that belief in what he wants to do. and we just played better. We just got the results. We managed the games better, and it just shows. And in terms of class, Marcelo Bielsa never complaining about a referee, so that just shows the class of the man and why he is a level above pretty much any other manager in this league, or pretty much any other manager outside the top 6 of the Premier League. I feel just the class, the tactical knowledge, just everything about him. I think it's just a perfect Leeds United manager. I've said it before, he's a perfect Leeds United manager. I couldn't think of a more, obviously since the days of Don Revie, Howard Wilkinson, I can't think of a more perfect Leeds manager in my sort of lifetime, who suits and gets the job as much as he does. Darwinian's commented, Norwich don't bother me. If we get an auto spot and someone else does as well, may as well be Norwich. The gap between us and third is important. In terms of Norwich, I think I would agree that Norwich don't really have, other than Timu Pukki and maybe, I'm trying to think of his name, Norwich Lightning, I don't think they have an outstanding player. But I think what they've got is spirit. They're similar to ourselves, they have that know-how spirit and manage games really well. I think they get a lot of last-minute winners. They're playing really well from what I've seen. But yeah, I think Norwich have been superb this season. I wouldn't say, as long as we get top 2, I'm happy. I don't care if we win the league or not. I really don't care. Just as long as we get top 2, even if it's a last minute, a knob end in the last minute, I don't care. Honestly, I really just don't care. As long as we go up, it doesn't bother me at all. But that is the thing. I think that's what Dominion said. The gap between us and third is most important. I have to agree with that. I really don't care how we get promoted, but it would be nice if we could do it. Carry on playing the way we are doing. I'm sure we will carry on playing the way we are doing. But yeah, I have to agree with what Darwinian said there. Stuart Cundall, I have a question. I think Douglas had a poor first half. Was this due to not having Alioski as cover and having Hernandez on that side instead? That is a very, very good point. I felt Barry. I thought defensively, I didn't think he did that much wrong. There was a couple of times when he got, I think maybe once in the first half, once in the second half, where he got beaten a bit too easily by the winger. He was skinned a little bit too easily. But other than that, I don't think he did much wrong defensively. He was just trying to be a little bit too clever at times. I think one thing I will say is that when we play with 2 inverted wingers and having Pablo on that side rather than Alioski, there's a lot more it's a lot more inviting for Barry Douglas to attack, because Pablo's going into the centre. Even on the other side, Alioski's going into the centre a little bit more, and it's allowing people like Shackleton and Douglas to push forward. So sometimes Douglas was caught up high up the pitch, but that was natural because of how I think we set up that day. I think we're playing inverted wingers. We want the fullbacks to push forward to outnumber that, creating out overload out wide. So maybe I think that's part of the reason Barry maybe was a little bit further forward and caught further forward from time to time. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was a poor game, but I did think Barry Douglas was quite at his best. He was trying to be a little bit too clever sometimes. Something I think obviously Marcelo Bielsa does encourage. We don't just hoof the ball out for no reason. We try and start an attack again. We try and keep the game moving, keep the pressure on, get the game flowing, and don't let the opposition relax. But maybe sometimes, maybe we try and be a little bit too clever. But that's natural with the system we're playing. I do love Barry, best left back in the league for me, and one of the best left backs outside the top 6 of the Premier League. Something Conor's pointed out as well. We're very, very lucky to have Barry Douglas. I feel, and I'm still amazed that Wolves let us have Barry Douglas. I know they got Johnny in from Atletico Madrid, but it still just surprised me that they let Barry Douglas go and not keep him in the squad at all. So Dilip Kedner, another comment. So one of the QPR defenders should have gotten a booking early in the first half for wasting time when he passed the ball back to the keeper too slowly. Overall, a well-deserved win, but we should have scored more than one. If we did score the goals from the chances in the first 15 minutes, then would have scored a lot more. We just need to go into the last 15 at least 2 goals up. I tend to worry a bit too much being 1 up. Andre Rajasthani has to make sure he extends contracts of our key players, especially Ruth. And yeah, I have to agree with pretty much all of that, Dilip. Especially the time wasting. I'm surprised with the way QPR set up against us. I felt we've got so much creativity in that team, so many good flair players that I thought it was a bit of a shame from a QPR point of view that they didn't really try and take the game to us a little bit more, especially with a makeshift back 4. I felt we were possibly there for the taking in the sort of defensive phase and that lot. And I don't think that's the right way to set up against us. Especially when we've got people like Matthias Klick, the master of the one-touch pass, and when you've got someone like that, he just needs to play a one-touch, quick 1-2, one touch to Saiz, one touch back, and we get through pretty much any team at this level. I feel I don't think many teams could stop that. You know, you've got people like Pablo with a creative flair who can score from anywhere. I mean, Kemal Roof's been on absolute fire. You know, he only has to give him one chance. It's a very, very daring way to play, I think, against us. Not daring as much, it's a risky way to play against us, trying to just play for the point. Birmingham did it really well. Borough did it really well. But I think they're slightly better at the back, I think, than QPR. I think they can they're used to sort of playing that style of play. It's more their sort of trademark kind of system, being a little bit more on the counter attack. QPR sort of seems to go to completely a plan B, really. You know, I thought they were a lot better than that. That's just my personal opinion, than trying to play the way they did against us. I think they are a good team. You know, I think they certainly showed in that last sort of 15, 20 minutes, as you sort of mentioned there as well, where we were a little bit nervous. But but I think what showed that why the system didn't work is the amount of chances we created. Even though they're part of the bus, we still created a lot of chances, and that's something that sort of suggests that you can't really try and part of the bus against us because we still create the chances, unless you've got an exceptional back four and midfield who are happy to cover in front. You can't really play that system. But yeah, I think if we had scored early doors, it would have been a different game. You know, we look at the start we've made to the season, all the early goals we got, it sort of changed the momentum of the games. You know, QPR would have had to come out against us, and we would have got another goal on the counter attack, I do feel. So I do definitely agree with that. In terms of contracts, yeah, that is something I would definitely hope we're looking at. You know, you certainly look at people like Kemal Roof, Pablo again. You know, I think Pablo's got another 2 years, but I'd keep Pablo until he's 40, me. You know, I still think he'd be class then, but yeah, I can't really remember off the top of my head all the contract situations. I think Berra did actually sign one about 18 months ago, just thinking literally off the top of my head in terms of players. I think we did sign a lot of them I think it's one of the only good things we did last season. I think we got people like Luke Ayling, Berra, Coops, Pontus, just trying to think of the ones we got last season. It's the long-term contracts. There's a few others, I think. It will come back to me. I think KP signed one recently as well. That's one of the good things we have done over the last 12 to 18 months. We have signed players we feel are our better players on longer term contracts. But it would be nice if we can be proactive on that rather than reactive. You know, we don't allow the interest to come in, because January is a worry to an extent. You know, we are going to have interest. There's going to be a lot of players who are going to have interest. You know, there's going to be Premier League clubs looking at our players, even the Liga clubs. You know, lower sort of the Liga clubs, because we've got some great technical quality. You know, we're lucky to an extent that Pablo is at his age that, you know, at 33, if Pablo was 5 years younger, there would be Premier League interest without a shadow of a doubt. Anyone would look at him. Anyone outside that top six would be looking at Pablo, but we'd get away with it to an extent with that. But yeah, I think it's definitely important that we do look to renew contracts if there's any sort of worry in terms of that. Another comment, just going to scroll down, it's Depcom22. 4 wins on the bounce, fantastic. In Bielsa I trust, reckon if we don't go up this season we never will. Since the Albion defeat we've been awesome, but we've got to keep going, because the chasing pack will pounce if we start to lose. I have to agree with all of that again. You know, I had worries as to that West Brom defeat. You know, I think more the way we went. I still will say I don't think we were that bad in that West Brom game. I certainly don't think that was our poorest performance of the season. What worries me more about that game was the way, as soon as the first goal went in, we panicked. That's probably the one time this season when we've conceded and panicked. You know, against a quality team. But I'd have to say, since that West Brom game, we've played well. Maybe not. What I will say is at the start of the video, I said we've not played at our very best. I don't think we've hit the level we were at the start of the season's first sort of 8 to 10 games. But we have played well. You know, we've still been the better team. We deserved to win all 4 games. We had to win the games in slightly different ways. I certainly thought on Saturday, in terms of creativity and on the ball movement and that lot, I thought that was our best performance. But we've got to keep going. Definitely got to keep going. You know, I think we've got to. It's just, it's so competitive this season that I think teams are going to pounce on us. You know, we've got away a bit with the West Brom getting that point against Aston Villa. You know, both dropping points. Aston Villa looking really good. Something Conor's pointed out many times. Something I do really feel Aston Villa will be one of those teams that will move up and up that table as the months go by. There's a lot of competition this season. That's what is a worry. So we can't afford. We've got to just carry on. You know, that's the main thing. You know, it goes without saying. I think. You know, we've just got to keep doing what we're doing, game by game, just keeping the feet on the ground. And Bielsa won't let them get carried away. That's what I like as well. He'll still demand better. He still wants the perfect performance. You know, he'll still criticise where he feels we can be better. and that's why I don't think we will get carried away. So, just going on to some comments on Conor's videos. Tommy Firth, really enjoy your videos, mate. I honestly do. I agree with Ruth. The 2 goals didn't sum up his performance, and I'm hoping that him and Bamford will eventually swap in and out, as Bamford can finish well. But I do love what Ruth does off the ball. Glad to have Saeed's back. I thought he draws a lot of fouls and looks good on the ball. ALTV was better today, but Clark is younger and better with a great future ahead of him. What do you think? First of all, yeah, got to agree with the first comment. Conor's videos are class. We all know how class Conor is. Absolute legend of a man. But yeah, I think the first interesting comment there is about Ruth and Bamford, swapping them around. I think they both bring different attributes, is what I like about them. I think there's been a lot of talk of, in terms of comments like that over the last couple of weeks, and just in the media in general, and Twitter, Facebook, that there's a feeling that maybe we do need another sort of target man striker. I actually disagree with this. I think we've got 3 fine strikers. Kemal Ruth, who's in the form of his life at the moment, Patrick Bamford, who's got experience and know-how at this level, and Tyler Roberts, who's a young player who's capable of scoring goals and has looked good in that lone striker role. For me, I think you'd struggle to get another player, attempt another player in. The only sort of option I consider is, we have those links with Fernando Llorente. I don't for 1 minute believe we'd ever have a chance of getting Fernando Llorente unless we got promoted. But for me, at championship level, I cannot fault our striker options. I'm not going to say we've got the best strikers in the league. There are some very, very, very good strikers in this league. Tammy Abraham, Dwight Gale, all 20, 25 goal season strikers. But we've got strikers who fit this system perfectly. You said about Kemal Ruth, who was off the ball movement, off the ball work. His off the ball work is superb. And I do think Bamford's the more technical player. I think he can get a goal from absolutely anything. I love the way Bamford dribbles at the ball. He just seems. I think he's the better technical player, definitely. I think Kemal Ruth at the minute. I know he missed a lot of chances on Saturday, but I still think it's got to be a case of Patrick Bamford forces him out of the team. I don't really think I can criticise Kemal Ruth too much. But I do think towards the end of the season, maybe Patrick Bamford is going to come in for Kemal Ruth. At the end of the day, Marcelo Bielsa spent £7 million. But not Marcelo Bielsa specifically, but we spent £7 million on Patrick Bamford, and we've done that for a reason. We've clearly seen the potential in him. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I certainly think over Christmas we will see a bit of rotation there. I think Ruth might play one game, Bamford might play the other. I think we've got 3 games in 6 days. There will be rotation, so I think maybe it does present an opportunity to Patrick Bamford. Obviously got the Cup coming up as well, FA Cup at QPR. I think Patrick Bamford is almost guaranteed to play that game. So other comments as well, Samuel Saeed, I felt, his performance, he draws a lot of fouls, he helps us keep that momentum, he put that QPR defence under a lot of pressure. A lovely through ball into that man Kemal Ruth, which unfortunately he didn't quite convert. That would have been a really, really good assist. I just felt, I thought it was a really good, maybe not really good, but it was a nice performance of Samuel Saeed. I thought it was a really mature performance. Sometimes maybe wasn't his absolute most creative, but he still made things happen. I felt he kept that ball moving, and it was a really intelligent performance. I felt, in terms of drawing fouls and building that momentum. In terms of Eshjan Alioski and Jack Clark, I have to agree with that. I think Eshjan Alioski was better on Saturday, but Jack Clark just seems that natural out-and-out winger, happy to take on the player, happy to be on that right-hand side, happy to be on that left-hand side, and I really like Jack Clark. I think he's going to be such a good player. And then you can even throw Izzy Brown into the mix as well. He's got to come into this team as well somehow, and for me, he's probably giving more of a wide player than a sort of central player. I did that video last week, and all these team investigates where I do feel Izzy Brown could play. I think he's going to be more of a wide man in this team rather than playing in the middle. I don't think you can swap, click and Saeed around. But it's going to be interesting. I think there's a real good battle between Alioski, Clark and Brown. All bring different elements to the game. But I probably have Brown and Clark ahead of him. You could even possibly throw Jack Harrison into the mix. But again, I think Clark at the minute, in terms of Izzy Brown's fitness, should be starting games. That's just my personal opinion. I can see why Eshjan Alioski starts games instead. I think it's always been comments in a previous comment I've just gone through off. Just remind me who made that comment now. Stuart Cundle made that comment obviously about Barry Douglas. Eshjan Alioski does give you that pressing, that off the ball movement that I think Marcelo Bielsa really does like. So I think that maybe we'll see Eshjan Alioski start that game at Bolton. I think Marcelo Bielsa was more impressed with Alioski's performance on Saturday than he has been in previous weeks. But it's good that we've got competition in this team. Harry Burns. Could have been 3 up in the first 15 minutes. You could see that all they wanted to do was come here and try and get a point, but the 3 points is the main thing. Now on to Bolton, it will not be easy at all. Apparently they was brilliant today and unlucky not to get a draw. Gap's getting bigger, come on the Leeds. It's I have to agree with that comment. I think after the first 15 minutes, already said, I felt we should have been at least 1 or 2 goals up, even 3 goals up. We had 3 clear-cut chances. I mean, Carol Roof should be taking at least 1 or 2 of those for me. But yeah, it was frustrating the way QPR played. I thought we should have played a lot better than that. Should have been looking to try and take the game towards a little bit more. But Bolton won't be an easy game. Bolton's going to be tough. It's not an easy place to go. They have been unlucky last couple of weeks. Been having some really. They've had some tight margin games. Norwich away 3-2, that could have gone possibly either way. And Norwich had that spirit to come through. But you got to have respect for that. I mean, they had Norwich held for 90 plus 2 minutes. You have to have a lot of respect for that. And it shows it's going to be a tough game. We've already had that this season where we've sort of gone into games and we thought this is winnable, and we haven't won the game. It's the way the championship is. It's going to be a tough game. If we can win that, it's another real step up in the character of the team. It's a big game. It's a big game. It's a big opportunity as well. Sharp round 27. Poor performance, but 3 points was a must. Too many players again, way off the mark. Alioski looks void of confidence. Nothing he tries is coming off. I think now is the time to sit him out. BPF was all over the place. Sometimes you can see the defence losing confidence in him now, but second half was better. But we must play for a whole game, or a better team will punish us. Shackleton and Halmer had a good game. Now we need to keep KP in his CDM role. I wouldn't say it was a poor performance. I actually thought we played well, but I do think we can play better. I still think we need to hit that next level. I still think I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I think Marcelo Bielsa is. I'm not being greedy or anything, but I do think we can play better. I still think we can control games a little bit better. I think that last 15-20 minutes was very frustrating. I felt it was a bit unnecessary at times. I think we tired a little bit in that last 15-20 minutes, but we will learn from that, and we still won the game, which is something I will say is very important. There were players who I didn't think were at their best, which was frustrating to an extent. I felt at the back sometimes we were a little bit shaky. I don't think KP had his best of games. Probably one of his poorer games this season. You could even possibly say it's one of his poorest games this season. Pontus, I don't think was quite defensively. Obviously, the goal I thought was very unlike Pontus. But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't say we were as bad maybe as that, but I do think we can still play better. I've said over the last 4 games we've played well, but in terms of getting into that automatic promotion spaces, finishing that automatic promotion, I still think we can step it up another level. That's a good sign. It has to be a good sign that we can still step it up another level. BPF is a worry. He had that superb comeback against Reading. I think now he has to be more decisive on crosses. He has to sort of decide if he's going for the cross, he has to get it out or catch it. There was one I think in the second half where it was crossed into the box. He did get there, but he sort of went to palm it rather than catch it. He didn't really do either in the end. He ended up just palming it straight back into the box. It was the wrong decision in the first place, and it was poor execution as well. And that's a bit of a worry. That, as I said in the other video, other comments in relation to the transfers, that's the one area where I think we do need a little bit more experience. Someone who suits the system a little bit better. I do rate BPF, but I still think it's maybe a little bit too early for him to be a regular starter in this team. I think we need someone who's a little bit better with the feet. I look at people like Angus Gunn, Kieran Westwood, someone who's good with his feet, who can sort of start the attacks and act as an 11th outfield player. It's a very sort of modern idea, but it is what we see in this country now. Goalkeepers who are good with their feet as well. I'm not saying BPF is terrible with his feet, but I don't think he's quite at that level that he can be the ball-playing goalkeeper that we need at the minute. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying BPF has been shite or anything. He hasn't been. He's done well. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that one. Shackleton and Halmer, I have to agree, had a good game. Particularly Shackleton. Superb game from right back, as we've all touched on. Shackleton was superb on Saturday. But keeping KP in his CDM role, I think that's a fair shout. I think KP obviously is better there. But for me, Ethan Forshaw's done really well in that role as well, so that's another interesting battle. Obviously, I probably would go KP if we had to be one or the other, but I think to get the whole midfield into this team, I think one of them does have to maybe play out of position slightly. And for me, KP, if you take out sort of this Saturday's game, it's if you look at maybe the last couple of games he played centre back in, Bristol City, Ipswich actually. I'll go back to Ipswich, Bristol City, Reading, Sheffield United. That's probably the last 4 games I can think of that KP's played centre back, and a couple of games at pre-season as well. He's been superb in all 5 games. I think he is got that capability of playing that centre back role. Yeah, the poor game on Saturday, but I'll give him another chance there. That's my personal opinion, because I want to see Adam Forshaw stay in the team. I think Adam Forshaw's better in that holding midfield role than he is playing further forward. So I think KP's got to be sacrificed to an extent. Yeah, but it's good that we've got this kind of competition in the team. 147 Bazzi, great result. Probably Phillips' worst game this season. Samu not great. 10 clear of Villa, 12 of Stoke. Honestly, think it's between us and those two for automatic marching on together. So yeah, I think I'd have to. I've already touched on that. I think KP's worst game was possibly on Saturday. I'd probably maybe say the Swansea game is probably where I think KP struggled the most. But yeah, it's the standards KP set this season with very, very few and far between in terms of poor games from this season. He's been superb, absolutely superb this season. Probably one of the players of the season for me. Samu Saiz, I have to disagree with that a little bit. I thought Samu Saiz had a good game, not his absolute creative best, where he was causing absolute havoc, but I thought it was a nice, solid performance of him. In terms of Villa and Stoke, they are definitely going to be contenders, especially Villa. Look at the quality they've got in that team, the way they've started under Dean Smith. I think Dean Smith's a really good manager. I know he moaned a lot against us and that lot over the years, but he is a good manager. His teams do play good football, and that game is going to be intriguing in 13 days' time, just before Christmas. That's going to be a really intriguing game. I'm really looking forward to that game. It's going to be a great tactical battle. There's going to be some great football players, and it's going to be a goal fest, that game. I just feel it. Stoke, I do think are going to be up there as well. I think they're starting to get a little bit of momentum. I think they're starting to get back into the top half, just outside the playoffs. You're looking at the squad they've got. I think Gary Rowett's a good manager. I think maybe not quite as good as what I thought he was a couple of years ago, but he is still a solid sort of manager at this kind of level. Got some good players. Got a January window coming up as well. Got a lot of, in terms of parachute payments, to invest as well. We've got weaknesses, but we've got some good players there as well. So they are 2 contenders. I wouldn't quite say it's just them, but I think it's a fair point. Maybe it could just be them as well. I think both will be in the top 6 come the end of the season. Or will certainly be around the top 6. I think Villa definitely will be. Stoke maybe just outside, but I still think they'll be massively improved in the second half of the season. I think they will find that consistency to their game. John Barker, we're not at our best because of injuries, but still winning games, which is a good sign. Have to agree. I think something that's not been mentioned enough, I've not mentioned enough, is about the injuries. Look who's been missing. Luke Ayden at right back, Berra, Coops, centre backs. You could even say Berra and Coops at the start of the season, when we were at our absolute best, they were our starting centre backs. As good as Pontus is, he was actually on the bench at the start of the season. I'm not saying that I think they're better than Pontus, but it's a fair point as well. Barry Douglas missing for periods of the season. We had Adam Forshaw missing at the start of the season. We've got Patrick Bamford. He's only just come back. Izzy Brown's been out pretty much until now. Pablo's been out as well. We've had so many injuries. It's so impressive. That is what really impresses me. We've not ruined our season. We've just carried on. You look at people like Thomas Christensen, Steve Evans. They'd been moaning like I don't know what with the injuries they had. But Marcelo Bielsa just carries on. It's not built around one player. This whole team is a team of 11. Absolutely everyone contributes in this team. Anne Kraft has commented, this is in relation to our interview with Warren, a technical error. These guys are quality, all 3 of them. Yeah, the technical error, that was, I'm not sure you guys might have seen, you might not have seen, but we tried straight after the game on Saturday to do a live interview between myself and Warren. I'm good friends with Warren, absolute top guy. Absolutely love his analysis and that, but we tried to do it live because we were in a little bit of a rush after the game and just get it straight out. It didn't quite work. I think for the first 2-3 minutes it worked well, but unfortunately I think the Wi-Fi went. I'm not 100% sure what went, but it didn't quite work. I apologise for that straight away. It didn't look very professional. I do apologise for that. We've got the video back out, we've got it redone. I have to thank Warren for being happy to do the video again. We had to start right from the start, but we got there, we got the video out, so we're glad about that. Just to apologise for on Saturday that we advertised it and we didn't quite get it done, but that was my fault. That I apologise for that. But I appreciate that comment that you think we're quality. Thanks for that. So Norman Roof, next comments. Oscar, what has Kemar got to do for you to get a man of the match from yourself? I think, I can't give Kemar Roof a man of the match. I don't think this season. I might be wrong, but I don't think I've actually given him a man of the match. Kemar Roof has been absolute quality this season. I'm going to promise you now, Norman, I'm going to do a video in the next couple of weeks for all these teams investigate specifically on Kemar Roof. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I've been planning it for a couple of weeks now. It's going to be a sort of a striker video. I'm comparing Kemar Roof to our last couple of great strikers and how this season he compares to the other ones. I'm going to do that one in a couple of weeks for all these TV investigates, just see through a couple of things in terms of prep for that one. But I promise you, Norman, he will get his appreciation from me. It's not that I think Kemar Roof's not been playing well. I just think, I think certainly on Saturday I felt Adam Forshaw and Jamie Shackleton were a little bit more influential to the win. But I think, to be honest with you, on Saturday is probably the only time I think Kemar Roof hasn't finished well. I think it's the only chance where he's not finished his chances. Or not finished most of his chances. He probably missed more than he scored for the first time all season. And he's been having a superb season. It's been an absolute joy to watch Kemar Roof this season. Again, much like KP, has to be part of the considerations in terms of player of the season so far. He certainly gets appreciation from me, Norman. If it doesn't come across like that, I do apologise. But Kemar Roof, I absolutely love you, man. You've been absolutely unreal in the middle. I have always felt that Kemar Roof's best position has been in the middle of the pitch, through the middle. I think he's been superb every single time he's played there. Even last season, he gets that hat trick at QPR, he gets that hat trick against Newport. He looks really good in the middle of as the lone striker. He looked really good. He always got himself goals. His goal scoring record is absolutely immense. He's just a great player in terms of he just does everything I want to see. He's got good competition in Patrick Bamford as well, which we've also touched on in the video. But it's just great. It's just brilliant. Steve has commented, Bielsa came with the El Loco label. As I see, is the most respectful, humble man who is truly a football genius. We are so lucky to have him. This will be our greatest signing ever. I have to agree with that. In terms of modern times, since Wilco, since Dom, I can't think of a more influential manager. Obviously we've had people like Simon Grayson. Simon Grayson he's my hero, Simon Grayson. In terms of my age, I don't think I've enjoyed watching Leeds as much as under Sam Grayson. He is an absolute legend, but I think Bielsa he just is the perfect Leeds United manager. In terms of being humble as well, I don't think that gets enough appreciation from me. I certainly think outside of ourselves, I don't think enough people appreciate that. In terms of the media and that, he's just a wonderful human being. He's just a legend already, and greatest signing ever. If he gets us promoted at the end of the season and really takes us to that next level, he has to be, well up there in the last 25 years. It's hard to say at the minute. Obviously we have to see how this season finishes off. I don't want to jinx anything, but it's just incredible. It's still, I think it's been 6 months now since Marcelo Bielsa got the job. I think 6 months this week since Marcelo Bielsa got the job, and I still wake up and think, fuck me. It's the great Marcelo Bielsa managing Leeds United. It's just unbelievable. It's still amazing. I think even for the rest of the season, it's still going to amaze me that Marcelo Bielsa is the great Marcelo Bielsa. The man is Pep Guardiola. I'm not going to ramble off all the stories I've read, but I'm going to ramble off one. Pep Guardiola, when he decided in 2006 that he wanted to go into football management, the first person he went to see was Marcelo Bielsa, and he spent months, learning from Marcelo Bielsa. That tells you everything you need to know. Mauricio Pochettino, Diego Simeone, Jurgen Klopp, some of the best managers football has ever seen. Some of the most influential managers football has ever seen. Certainly in the last couple of years, in more recent times, have been influenced by Marcelo Bielsa. And it's just incredible. It's just goosebumps, to be honest, especially when you consider the managers we've had over the last couple of years. I'm not going to ramble them all off, but it's just only Leeds United could go from the managers we went with last season or the season before to Marcelo Bielsa so quickly. It's just crazy. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I've got great respect in terms of the personality of some of our managers in recent years, but they just don't have that same level of tactical knowledge as Marcelo Bielsa. That's my feeling on that one. Norwich City Central, I've commented as well. Norwich City Central recently subscribed to the channel, one of the best channels out there for Norwich content. I do really enjoy watching them, and I appreciate the comments. Nice video, kept first warm for us for a few minutes. Nice bit of banter there. But yeah, I've got to have a lot of respect for what Norwich have done this season. You look at the way Norwich were last season under Daniel Farke. You thought it was going out one way or the other this season. And I think at the start of the season, you thought when we played them, although they started that game strongly, I thought they looked almost broken to an extent. But the comeback from that defeat is incredible. And you do see it sometimes in the Championship. And I do think Norwich are the real deal. Maybe they've not got the best squad out of everyone. I do think we've got the better sort of quality, but I think Norwich's spirit, you cannot underestimate that spirit Norwich have got. The last minute winners, they've got real belief, and at the end of the day, Norwich is still a point ahead of us. I've seen a lot of talk that Norwich won't last, but Norwich have been there and done it so many times at this level that I cannot rule them out. I cannot rule Norwich out. I think Norwich really will be up there and really are a contender for promotion. Got to say that. I do really rate what they are doing there. I saw actually a tweet off Jack Reeve actually today. We've had the comments, both us and Norwich have had a comment off Ian Abrahams. I'm not even gonna take the bite. I just don't. It's just such an absolute rubbish comment, to be honest with you. It's just laughable, some of the what's being said. I'm not going to go through it, but Jack Reeve came up with a brilliant response, saying that Norwich have appointed a really good English sporting director. Can't actually remember. It's Stuart Webber, who was at Huddersfield last season. Sorry, not last season, 2 seasons ago when Huddersfield transformed themselves to the club. But they've received 50 million in transfers and developing so many young players. Jamal Lewis, Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell, all really good, promising players. Norwich are a real threat, and I think they're a team that they're building foundations to make them possibly a good team in the Premier League as well. I think they're very similar to what sort of like Norwich, Southampton were trying to build a couple of years ago. They've got the same kind of feel to them as well. I certainly didn't think Norwich were going to be up there at the start of the season. I felt they were going to be sort of mid-table, but there's always that team who's surprised, and I think Norwich are that team this season. They've got that spirit there as well. Last 2 comments, Matthew Smith and Bamford would have scored a few of those chances that Roof had. Have to agree with that. And I think maybe you could even say Roof is feeling a little bit of pressure. Bamford back from injury. But I felt at the start of the season that pressure Roof was coped with superbly. We saw Bamford arrive for 7 million, and he just coped with it brilliantly. He said to Patrick Bamford, in terms of his performances, that you've got to take the shirt off me. I'm going to score goals. I'm going to play that lone striker role perfectly, and he did. And I think the pressure is still on Patrick Bamford for me. Patrick Bamford has really got to take most of his opportunities that he's going to get on the pitch. But it's just fantastic having this competition. Compared to last season when we had, it was, do we have to play him? Do we have to play him? Do we have to play him? We had no options. I think we've already, in terms of strikers, we've already got more goals from our strikers at this stage of the season than the whole of last season. I'm not going to go through the strikers last season, but it's just different class this season. I think even Tyler Roberts, our third choice striker, who walked into the team last season, it shows the difference in quality. Stephen Hoy, last comment. Great win again today. It seems whoever Bielsa puts in does a great job, but just keep grinding out wins while teams around us drop points. Can't wait to see us with a fully fit squad. Another great video as always, Joe. We love you, brother, and the channel. MOT. Leeds. I'll go straight from the start of that one. Whoever Bielsa puts in does a great job. Have to agree with that. He's getting the best. Can't think of one player who's regressed this season. I think everyone's gone forward. Everyone's stepped it up a level. Even Alioski, I think, has stepped it up a level in terms of, in terms of his off-the-ball work. I think he's definitely improved in that element of his game. I still think Bielsa will get better out of him. Other than that, I think absolutely everyone has stepped up another level. Jamie Shackleton, the performances he's putting in, the man management of Bielsa, the way he's getting those performances out of Jamie Shackleton. Maybe his head would have dropped a little bit that he's not been getting as many chances, but Jamie Shackleton, full credit to him as well. He's an absolute credit to the football club. The way he's coming to this team. I think there's seen a lot of comments that it's easier for the young players that that they're coming into such a good team. I actually think it's a lot harder to come into a good team. You know, I think it's easy to stand out in a poor team. You know, you look at the we had the magic four of Lewis Cook, Alex Marriot, Sam Byram, Charlie Taylor. I actually felt I rated all of them as players. I thought they were all fantastic servants to the football club in terms of performances. But it was easier for them to come through than it has been for Jamie Shackleton, than it has been for Jack Clark. You know, they're having to stand out in a team with Pablo Hernandez, Matthias Click, and Barry Douglas. You know, it's harder for them for me, and that's something that really impressed me. The way Bielsa's got that out of them, he's kept that belief in them, and he's kept them hungry as well. It's superb man management. That's all I can say. It's just man management is. He's just absolutely perfect at managing players. He knows exactly what to do with them, how to keep them motivated, and how to let the heads drop, or let the heads get too big as well. He does not let that happen. In terms of Joe, we all love Joe. I mean, we all love Joe. He's just a legend. Got to appreciate that comment, Stephen. I've got to appreciate all your comments this week. I've not quite been able to read them all out this week. Just selected a couple. But once again, I filled in for Joe this week. He will be back next week. The main man will be back next week, and you won't have to listen to my rambling for next week's Monday Night Football. And Joe will actually be doing Monday Night Football live next week. He's hoping to go live from 9 o'clock. I'm sure you'll hear more of that from Joe in his previews for Bolton next week and his review of the game. We'll make sure he mentions what time he's going live on that. Make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you check out our reviews from QPR. Did that fan interview with Warren. Make sure you just check out all our videos this week. We've got all these TV investigators coming up on Wednesday, and this week we're going to go through the fullbacks. We've got on Friday, we've got Conor's Friday Night Football, and of course on Thursday the match previews for Bolton, the big one on Saturday at Bolton. I've been Oscar Marriott. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll stop rambling and we'll see you later.